Hey everybody, Hafriz Shah from Proton.org. We're here at the Proton One Tank Adventure. You know, Proton doesn't have the best reputation when it comes to fuel economy. People say, you know, Protons always use more fuel than most of its competitors. So yeah, Proton is now doing a nice adventure for the public, for the media, to prove that their cars are actually fuel efficient. So we're going to use just one tank of fuel going up to above 600 kilometers. Can Proton cars do that? We will find out. The adventure is simple enough. About 18 Protons are going to go up to Ipoh and back from Proton Center of Excellence in Subang Jaya. And throughout the whole route, we'll be covering over 600 kilometers. We are here in a Proton Saga 1.3 Premium, and we are aiming to do around 15 kilometers per liter. This car has a 40-liter tank, so 15 kilometers per liter, that will bring us up to 600 kilometers overall. So we'll see what this car can do. This is not a hardcore extreme fuel efficiency challenge, so we're not going to see people, you know, driving barefoot to get better control of the throttle pedal. You're not going to turn off the engine as you coast along. So this is going to be a realistic challenge of how a normal Proton Saga, driven in the real world, see just how good the fuel efficiency can be. There are quite a few things that you can do to improve your fuel efficiency. Number one, which is the most important, I think, is to take care of your tire pressures. Most people on Malaysian roads run very low tire pressures because they just don't check their tire pressures. You have to do it every 2 weeks, latest, or every month. So keep it within the ranges of the recommended levels by your manufacturer. Because if you run very low pressures, you're going to add extra drag. The tires basically just gonna, you know, decompress, and you end up using more fuel. By inflating your tires correctly, you will end up getting better fuel economy. That's free savings. But at the same time, you shouldn't overinflate your tires either. By overinflating your tires, you know, the bottom of your tires become round like that, and that minimizes the contact patch of your tire, so that's going to be dangerous, especially in the wet. So yeah, keep to the recommended levels. Maybe at most go 1 or 2 psi higher, but no more. Another thing that you can do is to minimize the extra weight that you're carrying in your boot. Like, you know, things like extra pairs of shoes, books that you don't need, you know, multiple bottles of water that you may need later in the future. Take all those things out. Every little kg will save fuel in the long run. One more thing that is obvious to most people but completely ignored by others is to service your car on time all the time. This car here was just serviced 2 weeks ago and it runs like a dream. Regular maintenance service keeps your car in perfect condition or near perfect condition to give you the best performance, best fuel efficiency. And if you don't service your car on time, the oil is going to turn to sludge, there's going to be more friction in the engine, you end up using more fuel, and then you blame the brand for it. One last thing before we go into driving tips is aerodynamics. This is going to be a little bit controversial because Malaysians love body kits for whatever reason. Most of them do look good, I must say, but not all of them. But the thing about body kit is they do add weight, and some of them even add extra drag to your car. If you buy like an official body kit from a manufacturer that's been designed in a wind tunnel, properly designed, that's fine. But if it was designed by some abang in Kajang, yeah, it's not going to be that great in terms of cutting through the wind. We are here on day 2 of the Proton one tank adventure, and yesterday we covered over 350 kilometers going up all the way to Taiping before going down to Ipoh for a night's stop. Today our first stop is at Kelly's Castle, as you can see there, before we're going back down towards KL. Yesterday most of the trip went over back B roads, whereas today is going to be mostly highway. On the car's fuel tank, it says half tank at the moment, over 370 kilometers so far, and we have another 250 kilometers before we reach back home. We'll see if the car can actually reach 600 kilometers, but so far it's looking pretty good. Doing good so far, so I'm going to talk about a few driving tips on how to improve your fuel consumption. Number one, it's all about finesse. It's all about throttle control. You don't go, you don't treat the throttle pedal as if it's an on and off button. You don't go full on, full off, full brakes. Just be very gentle with the throttle pedal. You push it in very slightly as the car moves off. You don't have to be aggressive with any of the inputs. The more aggressive you are, the more fuel you will be using. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just wasting fuel because you're not going any faster. You're covering the same distance over the same time. You're just using more fuel. That's just wastage. The general rule is the smoother you are, the less fuel you use. And it's also a good thing to be always aware of your surroundings. Always look at the mirrors, see where all the cars are coming from. Look ahead, look far ahead into the distance, see if there's a gap, if there's a car stopping. If there's a traffic light that's turning red, you should, just lift off the throttle, coast all the way towards the traffic light instead of pressing the throttle, driving fast all the way there and then slamming on the brakes as soon as you get there. Like I said, that's just wasting fuel. And being aware of your surroundings is also, again, safer for you, so you know exactly what's around you. If there's an accident in front of you, you know whether you can swerve left, whether you know there's a car or there's a gap on either side of your car, so you know exactly where you should go. Today is also a very hot day, as it always is in Malaysia, so it helps if your car is tinted like this one, so there's less heat going through the windows. And you can say all you want about Proton cars, but this is true, they have the best aircon. So yeah, I'm feeling very comfortable in here. It's all good. On the highways, it's all about the speed. Obviously, if you go like 120, 130, whatever it is, you're going to end up using more fuel. But that's illegal anyway. For now, I'm doing about 80 to 100 kilometers per hour, cruising nicely along, keeping up with traffic, not holding up anybody. So yeah, it feels good. I'm going a little bit slowly if I'm going uphill, because the car tends to rev up a bit more when I'm going uphill. This is a CVT, of course. But going downhill, you just let it coast all the way down. You end up using very little fuel, and it even goes up to like 110, the national speed limit. Yeah, and I think we're doing all right. If you don't have cruise control like this car, you gotta do it manually. But again, smooth inputs with your right foot, smooth in, smooth out. Yeah, minimize braking. Yeah, good to go. One last thing, keep your windows closed. Some people like to drive like that with the windows down, maybe with a cigarette in their hands. Yeah, just don't do that. Leave them closed, use the aircon on, so it's much more comfortable anyway. Leaving your windows open is very bad for drag. Remember what I said about aerodynamics, using like a big wing and everything? Leaving your windows down is almost as bad, or maybe even worse, than having a huge rear wing at the back, pulling your car back. End up using more fuel that way. Before the end of the adventure, Proton arranged a very short and sweet dynamic drive experience session here in Mait Serdang. Obviously, an eco challenge is not the most exciting way to drive a Proton, so this is a very nice way to show Proton's renowned ride and handling. So there you have it, a Proton Saga 1.3 from Subang Jaya to Ipoh and back, over 630 kilometers of back roads and highways, and this car made it in just one single tank of fuel. Well, actually, this car made it easily because we only used 33.8 liters in the end. That's an average of 18.6 kilometers per liter or 5.4 liters per 100 kilometers. For a car like this, you can buy it now for under 30,000 ringgit. That's fantastic. There you have it, Proton one tank adventure. So answering the first question, are Proton cars not fuel efficient? Well, clearly from today, the answer is no. What do you think of this answer? Let us know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.